Business Today, live from Hong Kong and London. A massive winter storm moved away from the southeast of the United States on Thursday and continued to dump snow, sleet, and rain as it moved north. Traffic is heavily affected in many cities, including this one in the state of Pennsylvania, as the snowplows there work overtime. Well, power has been restored to a number of homes, but more than 500,000 homes and buildings still do not have electricity. According to the flight tracking website, FlightAware.com, more than 1,000 flights in the U.S. have been canceled already today. Well, let's find out more about the severe weather in the U.S. Samantha Moore is live at the International Weather Center, and it's very much a challenging week all along the East Coast, Samantha.
No kidding, and people are really getting tired of it. It just continues to go on and on. So we're watching the snow pile up here and across much of the deep south. The folks are still going to be dealing with it, especially into the Carolinas and the mountains where they've had some record snowfall in the Asheville area. And you can see just widespread across the south. Now that has moved out into the Middle Atlantic and the Northeast, primarily the Northeast. And so far, these are the amounts we have seen. Just incredible in a fairly short period of time, too, across much of Virginia, 38 centimeters, and then amounts as much as 24 centimeters right in Central Park in New York City. Washington, D.C. also seeing 28 centimeters. So incredible amounts as this low works its way on up the coast, and it's still affecting the folks in the Northeast yet on Friday. So here are some of the pictures we see left behind. Can you imagine being late getting into Dulles Airport here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and you can't wait to get to where you need to go? And here we go. Here we are at the car rental place, and we can't even get out of the lot because the cars are just buried. So there are those specifics regarding the cancellations we have seen from this storm alone, 10,000 plus. And this year, we have already had 71,000 cancellations, and the cost of the airline at $150 million. So this is definitely going to have a huge impact on folks, on the economy, due to the fact that we've just seen so many people impacted. Take a look at the satellite picture. This is pretty amazing, this UMET satellite showing 2 weeks of storms lined up here, moving right into the western and southern portions of the UK. Of course, Ireland really profoundly affected by these storms as well. And the big waves, the flooding from the coastal flooding, the groundwater flooding, and another storm moving in tonight and into tomorrow. We're talking heavy rain as we head into the next few days. So we'll be watching this carefully for you. We could see some 41 millimeters here as we head into the next few days right here in the south. So we'll be watching that very carefully, and the impacts that will continue here. We don't see any end in sight.
Oh, that is not what we want to hear, and all of that is happening in the backyard of our London bureau there, right behind you. So speaking of that, let's turn to Nina for more on the situation where she is.
Yeah, thankfully not our flooded backyard because it's dry on the streets of London, but not far from here, just what, 40 miles away, it is absolutely up to knee-high levels in water. So if we turn towards the UK, where the problem is more rain and gale-force winds are expected to batter southern England, aggravating the already miserable flooding situation that's been plaguing this area for the best part of at least 2 months. Well, the disaster is expected to have a short-term effect on the economy, but of course the scale will depend on how long this problem actually goes on. Let's go to our flood correspondent of the week, Jim Bolden, who's been joining us from various towns right up and down this region. Today he's in the town of Maidenhead in Berkshire County. And Jim, what's it like?
Well, Nina, you were just talking about flooded backyard. That is a flooded backyard. This is an area that should not see any water whatsoever. This is a field just before this tiny village. And this road has been closed to all but large vehicles, four-wheel drives. The interesting thing today is because we're expecting a lot of rain, it's already battering the south coast, it's heading up here to London. The police and authorities are warning people, even if they see the level of the water go down during the day, it will go up again in the weekend because of the amount of rain that is expected. The River Thames is hitting 60-year highs in some locations around here, and the government is warning people to not be complacent just because they've seen it fall just a little bit the last 24 hours. This is the third major Atlantic storm to hit Britain this week. They're talking about a month of rain in just 48 hours. So even though it's only raining a little bit today, they're expecting that storm to come to hit this part of London, outside of London, a lot stronger. Nina, I should also tell you that the Prime Minister has told local governments to stop charging local residents for sandbags. They say the government will pick up that tab. They should be getting that kind of stuff, that kind of help for free, Nina.
And Jim, just behind you, we're seeing a car trying to make its way through these floodwaters. It looks more like a ship from where we're standing, but this just illustrates how difficult it is for people to get around. People have been having to resort to canoes, as I was saying before, 4x4s, which it looked like that vehicle was, and the train lines have gone down.
Yeah. Well, what you're going to see go right behind me right now is a very large moving van. This company I've seen up and down the Thames as well. They've been moving people out of their homes, trying to get their furniture if they can't get it up high enough, or if they can't get on another floor, to take it somewhere else. Also, you've seen roads being closed, so people trying to commute. We have, of course, found it difficult to get around. This road is actually technically closed. There are police on both sides. They're letting people through for the moment. They said we can't stay here for very long because they expect this water level to rise. So if you're not in a four-wheel vehicle, they really don't want you in this area. And you can also see, let me just show you over here, none of this is supposed to be water. The Thames is over there behind the trees. You see these houses, again, being slowly but surely ringed by very large amounts of water. And as it rains, there really is nowhere else for the water to go but to continue to flood these villages and the areas around these villages, Nina.
All right, Jim Bolden there, who's been getting good use out of his Wellington boots over the last couple of days, joining us there from Maidenhead. But of course, the situation is serious for a number of people here. They've lost a lot of their livelihoods temporarily. They've also lost some of their goods, furniture, and it'll take months for all that to dry out and for them to get back into their homes. Well, as we heard, the flooding here has brought parts of the UK towards a veritable standstill, but there's no time to waste for one production facility in the west of London. Up next, we visit the business behind those famous Baptist statuettes.